Welcome to another training session for GLOW 2025. Hopefully you will watch this recording and understand how to present at our upcoming virtual conference. Thank you for being here and for participating in our fourth annual GLOW. Of course, this conference was preceded by the event Global Education Conference for many years. So we actually have been, I don't know, in existence for maybe 15 years now. So thank you for being part of this community, especially if you've presented before. And hopefully this tutorial will equip you with everything you need to execute a presentation flawlessly. My name is Lucy Gray, and I'm the co-founder of Actionable Innovations Global, the organization behind GLOW. And hopefully, if you have any questions, you can always email me or join our WhatsApp group to ask for further help. In this presentation, there are some key links for you. There is a support center from RingCentral Events, which gives a lot of technical help, including how to present PowerPoint slides, which is a little different than other kinds of materials. We also have a link to our presenters toolkit where we've outlined information for you. If you are a keynote or a featured speaker and you want to book time with me to learn how to use the studio where you'll be presenting, the stage, you can also click on this link in the slides and it will take you to my booking calendar. There is a conference flyer also available that you can share with friends and colleagues to encourage them to attend. The conference is free to attend the live sessions. There is a fee if you want the recordings too. So please encourage everyone and anyone to come to the conference. Our critical dates are here on the calendar on the right-hand side, just to kind of keep you in mind. I'm hopefully going to have the schedule up by November 1st. It's imperative that you book your session if you've not already done that. And so these are some kind of key things that you need to be aware of. You are essential to our success. You're important in building our global community. And the more people that we get to come to the conference, the more interactive and rich the experience will be for everyone. So it's really important that you promote the conference. We're doing the most that we can, but it also word of mouth from you and any co-presenters is really, really essential. So we really want to build a global education network for people who are interested in globally connected teaching and learning, and we're all in this together. So we appreciate you and appreciate any efforts you can make to spread the word about the conference. These are some of the tools that are ready for you. We have the Presenters Toolkit, which is a website that contains ready-to-use social media graphics, social media copy, anything, you can always adapt these materials and that sort of thing. We also now have a template for the slides in Google Slides. Some of them are required slides that you need to add to your presentation, so make sure that you get a copy of that. We also have a translatable flyer that you can send to friends and colleagues through email or through social media. And we encourage you to use that in your promotional efforts. So right now we're in late October. So hopefully you are sending out posts that say that you're excited to present at GLOW. Here's what you'll be sharing, and that sort of thing, and try to build anticipation for your specific session topic. In November, we hope that you'll encourage people to register. And then on the day of your presentation, make sure that people, do kind of a final call to action for immediate attendance. So that's kind of our timeline in terms of promotion. How can you do promotion? One is through social media. It would be great if people were using also um, I'm blanking right now, using video to create calls to action and encourage people to attend. TikTok, that's what I'm thinking about. So if you want to use TikTok, Snapchat, any of those tools, plus the ones listed, it would be great. And you can tag them with our conference tags, and there's some additional tags that are recommended in the presenter's toolkit. You can also send emails to people. We have sample email copy in the toolkit that you can adapt as needed to send emails to friends and colleagues. If you're part of professional networks in LinkedIn or Facebook or Slack or Discord, mention the conference in the link and give them the link to register. And then finally, ask your school or organization to promote the conference. Ask people to mention that you're going to be at this conference and that uh, others are encouraged to attend. So those are some 4 kind of ways that you can think about promoting, and we hope that you'll put some time into that. Here are some example social media posts about how, in terms of how you can craft a message to others. These are, you can copy and paste these or just copy them in general and adapt them as you need. I wanted to give you some kinds of examples of announcement posts or session specific posts or a visual post that will help gather people for the conference. So on to the technical requirements. It's helpful that you use Chrome as your browser during the conference. If you use Safari, you will have problems. You may be able to use Microsoft Edge. I'm not sure about Firefox, but you're going to have compatibility issues if you do not follow this direction. I'm going to say that pretty bluntly, because we've seen it in past years where people are not aware of the browser they're using, and then they have issues. I also recommend that you do not use PowerPoint. You can if you want to, but there's some specialized instructions for that. I recommend using Google Slides, and we have a template for you to use. Um, Web-based presentation tools generally work well, such as Canva as well. So if you have a Canva presentation, that would work as well. So just be aware that there's some specifics that will help you make your presentation as successful as possible. This is really, really important, and where we see an issue year after year. It's important that you enable audio and video in your browser, whether it's Chrome or something else. In Chrome, here are the directions for enabling your audio and video. You go to your Chrome settings, you click on privacy and security, you select site settings, and you click both the camera and the microphone options to make sure that it's set to sites can ask to use your camera and microphone. And then you want to make sure that RingCentral Events is not blocked in any kind of list on your computer for camera or microphone permissions. You do want to get into your room early to test. Hopefully we'll have the links to your room by November 1st. I'm finalizing the schedule right now and approving some last minute presenters, and I will have your link to your room soon where you can practice. So this is really, really important information. Okay, so it's also helpful to understand your presentation space. Some people are doing lightning talks, some people are doing longer sessions. Both of them are designed to maximize learning while respecting people's busy schedules. Plan your content accordingly. Lightning talks should have 1 to 2 key takeaways, while general sessions can explore topics a little bit more comprehensively with interactive elements. Session rooms where most people are presenting are kind of like a Zoom meeting room. And you can have it moderated, which means you're the person controlling most of the features in the room, or you can have an open room where anyone can turn on their audio and video. This is good for conversations, and if you want people to participate. In moderated rooms, people can hit a button that will put them in a queue that you can approve each person for turning on their audio and video. Session rooms allow up to 50 people to have their audio and video on at one time, and multiple people can, I think 1,000 at least, can watch the session. So just so you know, that's how session rooms work. New this year is a feature that allows materials to be shared, including a Google Doc or slides and that sort of thing. So make sure that you, if you want to share your materials, that you use that tab in your session room, not in the event, in the overall event, but in your session room. These are the tools in your room that you can use. Please do not post polls to the main event chat area. That's for us, the admin people, to use. You can control things in your session room. There's a Q&A tab that people can submit questions and answer, and you can answer. It helps you manage the Q&A a little bit better than just putting things in the chat. There are breakout rooms. This is if you have, by the way, if you have a moderated room. Breakout rooms and that sort of thing, I don't think are available if you have an open room. There's a poll feature that you can opt to use or not use. There's live chat in both types of moderated and open rooms. And you also are now able to put up a background or blur your background so that you look more professional. So those are some of the features. If you're on a stage, which featured speakers and keynotes will be on, we have to put you on stage. You need to, if you want to practice, you need to book a time with me to do that, because I need to be able to put you on the stage. So there is a chat with that. There is polling. We can put links up on the screen. We can put comments up on the screen. There's a lot of things we can do with that. Make sure to book time with me if you are on a stage. Recording and materials. In session rooms, the recording starts automatically. In stages, the moderator has to start the recording. And as soon as your audio and video is on in a session room, it starts recording. So be aware of that. You may not want to join your stage until right before you're going to present, so that we have a nice clean recording without having to do a lot of editing. So you might want to practice that in general. If we have to edit your video and cut off the beginning because there's a lot of excess time on there, it will take us some time to process that. So you may not see your recording right away. We will publish them as we are able during the conference. About a week after the conference, I will send you a folder where you'll find your recording, and you can download it and use it however you'd like. You can put it up on your YouTube channel. You can, put it in wherever you want to use it. You can. It's yours to use. So these are some of the important things to know about recording. They will be available in the replay tab during the conference, and then when the conference ends, recordings will only be available on a special website for paid conference attendees and presenters, just so you know. In terms of designing your presentation, it's important to think about designing differently for a virtual conference rather than an in-person event. You want to use high contrast for readability. You don't want to use a ton of text and keep the fonts fairly large. And you also want to think about your audience. And because we have an international audience, you may want to speak a little bit more slowly. I definitely need to work on that because I'm a fast speaker. You want to avoid cultural idioms and references and terminology that may be new to some of our attendees. If you're going to use acronyms and that sort of thing, make sure that you spell it out and explain it to people. So just be aware that this is a global audience, and English may not be the first language of a lot of our attendees, and you want to make things as accessible as possible given the scenario. So just some tips for that. Here's a checklist for preparing. one, promote; two, practice in your room once we give you the link. Test your technology, and then on the day before your presentation, a day of your presentation, make sure that you're in the room a little bit earlier to make sure everything works. So if you wait to the last minute and you don't test this stuff, I guarantee you're going to have issues. So please take this seriously. Um, Here's some engagement strategies by the type of talk that you're giving. If you're doing a lightning talk, you don't have a lot of time, so get to the point quickly, focus on one or two takeaways for the audience, leave 3 to 5 minutes for a couple of questions and answers, and then share resources, including in the materials, the tab for materials for deeper learning. Lightning talk should be high energy and fast paced. General sessions, make sure that you hook your attendees. You don't have to use a poll every 10 or 15 minutes, but you could do some polls. The other piece of this to keep in mind is, depending on the time of day and depending on how many people we get to come to the conference, you may have a very few attendees. Some people come and watch the recordings, so present as if people are going to be watching later on. And if you want lots of people to come to your event, your thing, you need to promote it. So, you know, keep that in mind, okay? And we want you to end 10 minutes before the top of the hour. And so that means, 20 to 40 minutes of presenting and leaving some time for Q&A, basically. We want to leave that buffer so that people can get to other sessions or take a break before the next sessions. And so be mindful of that. Here are some ideas about presenting well. One of the things I've noticed is that it helps if you're in a well-lit room. If you have a Ring camera or something like that, it helps. You don't have to have that, but make sure that you are well lit and it looks a little bit better. And then with screen sharing, and I'll show you very quickly at the end of this session what that looks like. I recommend sharing your slides from a tab, not from a window or the full screen. And I'll show you what that looks like as we proceed. You also want to make sure that you don't have tons of tabs open other than what you need. And if you have notifications on your device that you're presenting from, you may want to disable or, quash those notifications until after your presentation so that they're not popping up during your session. Another thing that I've noticed in past years is that some people do present from, there is an app for RingCentral events. It is really not meant for presenting. It's meant more for attending, in my view. If you can help it, please do not use the app for presenting. Use a computer or a tablet. I guess ideally and use a web-based approach. The app is useful for if you want to monitor the chat separate from your slides. You could have that open on a phone and be able to look at that quickly during your presentation. That's helpful. It's also helpful for keeping track of the schedule and that sort of thing. So just be aware that the best place to present is from a computer. Okay. So those are some tips for you. Some of the challenges that we've run into are with audio, sometimes leaving the room and coming back alleviates that. Make sure that you've got your permissions enabled in your browser to share audio and video. And if you have connection problems, turn off your video so that usually it causes some bandwidth issues sometimes in certain parts of the world. So maybe if you just present with audio, that will help. And then if here's some other tips. We typically do not get disruptive or participants or whatever, but you can also block people. If you hover over their name in the chat, you can block and report people. If they're just simply asking a difficult question, you could schedule a meeting with them afterwards right on our platform. There is a tool in RingCentral Events that allows you to have meetings with up to 20 people on your own without having a scheduled room or anything like that. So consider that. Please try not to run over your time limit. If you're finishing early, have some discussion questions prepared. And also have some conversation starters to fill time if there's some sort of technical delay. Hopefully, we've not had any technical issues from the RingCentral Events perspective in the last couple of years, but one year the system did go out completely for a couple hours, and it was pretty distressing. So hopefully that will not happen this time. The last few conferences we've done have been flawless in terms of the RingCentral Events performance. So I don't anticipate that. But just be aware that this is technology, and technology sometimes doesn't work the way that we want it. Just to remind you, there are some interactive tools to make your presentation come alive, including materials sharing, which is new. So you can upload handouts and that sort of thing for your participants to download. It's very exciting to have that new feature. Here's your presentation checklist for the day of. As a reminder, have some water nearby. Make sure you don't have 5 million tabs open. Upload your materials to the materials tab, that sort of thing. These are just some tips for making it successful. So right after your session, you can immediately thank people for coming, make sure that they know about the recordings. There's a slide in the slide deck that you can share. And if you want to continue the conversation with people, again, you can schedule meetings outside of your session room, right on our platform during the conference. We'll send you a copy of your presentation within a week, and help us grow by taking our survey and providing some feedback on the conference so that we can improve our services. So there's some resources for you. You can always email me at Lucy Gray Consulting. There is a presenters group in WhatsApp where you can ask questions and cheer each other on. We highly recommend that you join that. And finally, have fun with this. We want you to enjoy it and to have a feeling of satisfaction of connecting with fellow educators and organization leaders around the world. And hopefully this will be the start of relationships that you will carry on throughout the year till the next GLOW conference. So these are our final tips for success that you can read. And thanks again in advance for helping to get the word out about the conference. We really, really appreciate it. So I'm going to now switch to, and then here's our final checklist for November. I'm going to switch to the conference platform and show you what a room looks like. And then we're going to end really quickly because I've got another meeting in 5 minutes. Here is, I'm going to go to, this is the conference site. This is what you'll see when you join. This is the homepage or reception page. You'll see navigation tools on the left-hand side, these little icons. You'll see the chat for the event on the right-hand side, and you'll see my agenda. This is things that you've bookmarked, sessions that you've bookmarked will appear here. The event has polls, people, Q&A, and materials or docs, tabs for that. This is for the event. This is not for your session room. So these tools are specific. You can see that these are 2 different tabs, my agenda, event. Now, when I go to a session room, and hopefully I have a session room ready to go as a test, you're going to enter it on a spreadsheet that I will send you with a special link. And when you're in the session, you'll see that it pops up on the right-hand side as a session tab, and you're automatically in the session. This is the chat, polls, people, Q&A, docs for this session, not for the whole event. And you'll join the stage. You'll be asking, they will ask you to enable your camera and that sort of thing. You can choose a background and you can run the pre-event check to make sure that everything is good on a technical side for your system. So I'm not going to do that right now because I want to show you this really quickly. There are tools here if you're in a moderated room, and um, there include breakout rooms, a new session banner, um, which will pop up and you can customize, attendee engagement tools, including confetti, which you can turn on and off, and emojis and the hand raising tool. You can also change the layout for your session. This really is important if you have multiple speakers or if you are sharing slides. It will change, you can change the layout of how that looks. In terms of the last thing I really want to show you, there's some other tools down here that you can explore, and if you mouse over them, it will explain what they do. Okay. For example, there's closed captioning, which you may want to enable or encourage people to enable closed captioning. I believe this is an individual setting, so people can turn that on for themselves. It's helpful for English as a second language speakers to have this on so that they can read at the same time. It kind of reinforces the language. So these are tools that you can adjust. You can turn off and you can see now that I'm recording right away, okay? There's a red dot here and it says recording. The eye tells you how many people are watching your session. And you can also see how many people are in the room by clicking on the People tab. If you do not want to be recording, stop sharing your audio and video, okay? And then recording will stop. When you're ready to start presenting, click on Join Stage, join the session, and the recording will start anew. So that's how you can have, by using this effectively, you can have a nice clean recording. To share your screen, you click on the Share menu. And what I would recommend is, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm using a weird browser today, so ignore that. But if you want to share your slides, have them open in a tab and pick the tab here and then click on Share. So it takes you to the slides and you'll notice that there's a button here where you can toggle back and forth. This is what it looks like. It actually opens up in a different window. So just be aware that you can, you have to toggle back and forth. It opens up in separate tabs and you can toggle back and forth from your presentation screen to where your slides are. If you don't have your slides open, then you're not going to be able to share them. If you do the window, it's going to look funny. So don't do that. I would not recommend it. And same with entire screen. So just be aware of that. Share from a tab and you'll get a much more professional look. So that's it for right now. I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to stop sharing on Zoom. And I just want to conclude with thank you so much for coming and being part of this conference, and we'll see you online soon. Every Wednesday, I'm doing training sessions, so feel free to drop in and ask questions during those sessions. Thanks. Bye-bye.